Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to Trep Talks. This is a show where I interview successful e-commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business story and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today I'm really excited to welcome Greg Meade to the show. Greg is the co-founder and CEO of CrossNet, which is the world's first four-way volleyball game. Their product is a revolutionary four-way volleyball net where four players compete in a hybrid version of Foursquare and volleyball in a competitive game to 11, win by 2. And CrossNet has proven to be a really great product and business, growing from 74K in revenues in 2018 to about 2.25 million in revenues in 2019. And I'm sure it will continue to grow. And today, I want to ask Greg a few questions about his startup story, starting CrossNet, and some of the strategies and tactics that the team has used to grow the business. So thank you so much for joining us today at Trep Talks, Greg.
Thank you for having me.
Perfect. So let's get right into it. I know your business is really, really interesting, really exciting. I'm very interested to know your startup story. How did you get the idea? When did you start? And how did it all come together for you?
Yeah, so CrossNet was originated in 2017, the early half of it, when my partner and my brother Chris, who are also the co-founders, we developed the prototype of CrossNet in my mom's backyard. One night, Mike came over to me and he's like, "Hey, let's make something together." He knew I was an entrepreneur already, so he was an engineer from Northeastern, and Chris is great at sales. He worked at Uber. He was a Uber executive of Uber Eats, so. We had a good dynamic, us three together. We made it one night in my backyard, and we bought 2 badminton nets from, from Walmart. And then we went the next day and attached it to my mom's tree and in the shed, and the rest was history.
Perfect. And so it was really that you guys always had the idea that you wanted to be your own boss, as a team, and that motivated you, or was it like that you already had some idea of playing this game, like you were already playing it and you said, why not turn it into a business or something?
No, we actually just thought about it one night, and we were like, Foursquare volleyball, it popped into our heads, and we make the prototype the next day, and then we ended up playing it just to check it out, just to see if it would be fun. And it turns out it was fun. We had a line of like 5-6 friends over, and we were just playing all night, and then we ended up developing it.
Cool. Was there, and what were some of the big challenges, like when you said, okay, this seems like an interesting thing, you invited your friends, they were playing it, it seemed fun, going from there to building your first product, what were some of the big challenges that you faced?
Definitely was the manufacturing of the first prototype of CrossNet, just to make sure it was a sellable product. It took us about 3 to 4 samples. Every time we get a sample, it would be a long waiting process. So that was definitely the most frustrating time period of CrossNet, I would say, is developing the product and making sure it's good to sell, which it took about four samples before we actually started selling it. And then we've improved it after that numerous times. But just from it standing up, because it's two volleyball nets, so it is hard for them to balance properly without a pole in the middle. So making sure the tension strakes were long enough, making sure the poles clipped into each other perfect. It was a long process.
So can we dive a little bit more deeper into that process of manufacturing? So the manufacturing, you did it in the US or was it somewhere else? And for anyone, a lot of entrepreneurs, they get this idea and they want to create their first sellable product. Can you outline some of the main steps that you did in terms of bringing that idea to reality? What can others learn from your experiences?
For sure. So if you have an idea, you find a manufacturer, whether that's overseas, that's what we do, or you find one in the United States, depending on your product. Some are better in the United States, some are better overseas. And you have them sample it, you have them test it, you make a prototype. So in our situation, Mike's an engineer, my partner, so he made a blueprint of what we wanted, our design, and then it was created for us, and then we had to make edits to it, changes to it. So once you get that down, you have a manufacturer, supplier, someone who can do it. So if someone's trying to to build a water bottle, you find a supplier who's made previous water bottles or something similar in that category.
And for you, when you were getting started, the supplier that you chose was that in China? You said overseas. How did you find that manufacturer? Like, what was the process for you?
Yeah, we just use a website called Alibaba. It's pretty famous, and it's great for outsourcing and manufacturing.
Okay. Now you've been running your business for about 2-3 years. Who are your main customers? Like, which demographics are your main people who buy your product?
Yeah, so our main demographics are definitely families. So our purchase consumer would be the mom or the dad, more in like the ages of 35 to 50. They're more the purchasers. And the active players are usually the kids, the teenagers, who don't usually spend their money on it, but their parents will. So our active users are millennials, and then the families. So it's a great target to hit, because it's a hit for the families. Everyone can play.
And I think I saw on your website, and when I was doing the research, like I think you're selling in schools, and so are they like your wholesale customers?
Yeah, so 30% of our business is wholesale now. We just got a deal with Dick's Sporting Goods. We're in Shields. We're in Academy Sports. You name it. We're in a bunch of places. And then some of those wholesalers go to schools. We're in 5,000 plus schools. Obviously, schools are not really operating right now, so it's a little weird time for us to push that market. So that's our demographic split for 30 to 70 for online consumers versus wholesale right now.
And does it also like, is there a factor of like geography or like seasonality that people who are closer to the coast would buy your product more because they would want to play on the beach? And is there like a seasonality to it? Of course, I think in the winter people would buy this less. Do you see that?
Yes, that's a good question. Everyone asks that, and you would think, oh, in the warmer weather, everyone's going to buy it more, which is, yes, that's true. See a lot of sales just in the winter for, say, a state like Utah. So it's very strange. That question gets to us all the time. Our best sales are in California, Utah, Texas, Florida, and New England too. We're all around. If the winter comes, we have a indoor base model that is used for inside or cement. So it's good for the gymnasiums. So people can play inside during the winter seasons. That's what a lot of people do for volleyball.
Now, one of the really interesting thing about your business, and I think anyone, like any entrepreneur who goes on the journey of creating a new product, is and you basically created like this new sport, and this is like a completely new product, is how do you go about educating the market about this? So can you share like your experiences in the beginning days of, you created this new sport that nobody knows about, you have this new product. Of course, when people came together, they were excited to see it, and it's a fun game. But as a business, like, how do you go about telling people, I have this new sport that would be interesting to play? What was your experience in terms of, getting the word spread in the market and getting the sales going?
Yeah, so that's a good question as well. Once we develop the game, you set it up at the beach, there's going to be a line of 5, 10, 20 people sometimes just wanting to play or asking questions about it, not knowing exactly what it is because it's the first time they've seen it. So this is still an ongoing, not a problem, but a situation that CrossNet and our team are trying to develop and really push out to the consumers who don't know what it is. We want to make sure at the end of the day, in a few years from now, that if you walk by a CrossNet, you know how to play it, that your mom knows how to play it, that the 14-year-old kid knows how to play it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know, like, if you want to play basketball, everyone knows how to play basketball. They know the rules, shoot it in the hoop. So that's what, at the end of the day, we want our consumers to know what CrossNet is and to know how to play it at the end of the day. So we're going to start with more launching of campaigns in the back end. So once a consumer gets their product, send them email blast about the rules, set up tournaments. We just wanted to get a worldwide sport where people are familiar with it without even having to play it before.
But in the early days, like once you had your like first set of products, whichever, whatever number, like maybe 500,000 of the products that you got from manufacturer, like how did you push, like how did you sell those products? Like how did you make your first
Yeah.
sales?
Yeah. Sorry for the confusion there. Yeah. So
So
definitely Facebook ads. Our Facebook ads have been tremendous. We target, say, the mom demographic, and we can get numerous sales throughout the day. So that's our main target is using Facebook ads and word of mouth. So like I said, you set up on the beach, there's a line of 30 people. Everyone that's walking past is like, what is that game? So they'll go home, research it, look it up. You can tell if you really do some research. We set it up at the beach one time in the earlier stages. It was like the first year we launched. We set it up in this beach in Florida. And after that day, we realized we picked up 3 sales just from that demographic, that area. So it's all about that, and then pushing it forward with the front line with Facebook ads.
now, when I was reading through like some of your other stories on the internet, like one thing that I found really, really fascinating was like, I think a pivotal point in your business was when some team, somewhere, I think Lithuania or Latvia, somewhere, they created a video or something like that, and I think they published it on Facebook, and that give you like a viral sales or
Yeah, that was
something. That
cool.
that sounded really interesting. Can you
Yeah,
share like how did that come about? Because everyone, any new
yeah. So
business would want to know, hey, how do I go viral?
exactly, yeah. So that's something you can pay for or have it be organic. For our fortunate, for us, it was fortunate that it happened organically. It was the Lithuania Olympic gold medalists. There was 4 of them, and they made this crazy rally, like spiking on them and then crazy saves. It was a really cool video, and we continue to run that to this day, 3 years later. And we woke up the next day, they posted it just for organically, and we woke up, it was like 2 million views. So once we saw that, it was like, all right, let's push the video everywhere.
And so, like, did you actually send your product out to them, or like had they bought it from somehow from you? Like, how did that come about? Like, how did they even get the
Yeah.
product?
If I recall, I believe they just purchased it.
Okay.
I don't think one of us sent it to them. But after they made the video for us, we reached out to them to make more videos and to really just get on good terms with them.
And is that like our sports team one of your target customers now, that people use this as like as a practice for volleyball or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. So initially we thought this game would be a lot of the consumers would be based around volleyball and athletes. It turns out it's not. It's more for like the friendly user. But for volleyball, it's great. People have come to us, teachers, coaches. They've said they've used it for the classrooms, for the bump set spike, basic drills, tapping it, knuckles, all that. So it's definitely used in the volleyball community, and it's starting to get more respected in the volleyball community, especially with our help we have a gold medalist, Ryan Miller, working with us doing our podcast. So he gets a lot of volleyball players associated with it and really recognize it and respect it.
So this I didn't know about that. The gold medalist who's working with you, is he like your a brand ambassador? Is that like a strategic decision to have someone from the sporting
Yeah.
community come and work with you, or?
Yeah. So he's close friends with my brother right now, and they've been working on a podcast the last few months, and it's been taken off. We've got some of the top volleyball players in the world on the podcast. He's a great face for us, and we want to continue using him moving forward because he enjoys the product generally, and he likes it.
Okay. One thing that I'm really interested to know, because I know your business has 3 co-founders. Do you find that it's easy to work, when you have 3 people working? What are some of the challenges and benefits that you find? And maybe if you can also share, like, what are the responsibilities, like who does what?
Yeah, so myself, I handle all overseeing. So I work with my brother on the sales team, which Chris works on email marketing, talking to Dick's Sporting Goods, our website maintenance, and then I communicate with our other partner, Mike, who's our engineer and our brains behind the whole CrossNet product. He develops it, he talks, outsources it, speaks to our suppliers nightly up to 3 a.m. He does our customer service, our fulfillment, our warehouse. So I manage all those as well as the legal stuff. financial stuff, all that.
Okay. And this product, one thing that is interesting from like an e-commerce perspective is that your product is it's not a light product, it is a heavy product, right? I believe it's like 20 pounds or something.
Yeah.
So
correct.
could you please share a little bit about, warehousing and fulfillment? Because one thing that I've heard is, when someone says, okay, start an e-commerce business, their thing is, finding an ideal product, you should, a light product, a small product is better than a big product. So I'm very interested to know, how do you find working with a product that is heavy, that is a bit bulkier? How do you warehouse it? How do you fulfill the product?
Yeah, so we started out with our warehouse in Connecticut on the East Coast, and we started out just lifting every box ourselves, all 20 pounds, 5,000 of them a week. Very tiring. Got me into shape. I try to stay
And
away
it was
from
your
that.
own. It was your own warehouse. This is not like a third party.
No, this is our own warehouse. We rent our own warehouse. And now we've moved to California. It saves us on shipping. It saves us on time. And we are able to get bigger space. So we just moved into a new warehouse in Escondido, California. Now we have a forklift, pallet jack, all of that good stuff. So we load into our warehouse. You can see it on like our LinkedIn's. We post our back end story stuff on our LinkedIn's and Facebook's. But yeah, and you can see that there's 7,500 units in our warehouse now, and they're all about to be shipped out this week. So it's cool to see. Heavier products, yeah, makes it more difficult. You have to take up more space. But that's the journey of CrossNet. It's a big product.
And you're also like you're doing this, the whole forklift and all this thing, like you're doing it yourself, or like do you have other members who?
we have workers for us. We have employees. We have a good team. We have about 4 or 5 strong employees right now working with us. A great team right now.
Okay. And in terms of shipping, like, do you ship it yourself also? Like when you get the order, e-commerce order,
Yep.
you're basically packaging it and shipping it out yourself?
Yep, our same guy, Kevin and Chris, they handle our fulfillment in our warehouse. So the same person who's taking it off the trucks is slapping on the labels and putting it back in the truck.
And in terms of like shipping, given that this is a heavy product, shipping within the US versus shipping like to I'm assuming you sell like in foreign countries also. Do you, because I this is a question that I get a lot of time is, do you include the price of shipping in the product itself, or is it like the customer pays it separately? Because a lot of times, like when the customer says, so they, okay.
Yeah, we have the customer pay the shipping. It depends on where they're going. So if we ship it from California to Maine, it's going to cost a lot more than California to California.
Okay, and is most of your business within the US or like throughout the world? Like,
yes, it's mostly in the US right now. We're trying to expand it to Australia, UK. We just got a nice Kuwait distribution deal, so we have a nice distributor over there who's going to get exclusivity to Kuwait. Very big market right now for us, which is cool to see. There's just some countries that we didn't even know they played volleyball or like CrossNet, and then they come to us and say they want to work with us long term. So it's really awesome to see.
Okay. Could you please talk a little bit about your hockey stick growth? Previously I mentioned, which is quite impressive, 2018, you started in 2017, 2018, you did 74K, 2019, if I read correctly, it's 2.25 million. It's like a pretty steep growth, which I believe a lot of businesses would really want. I mean, it would be like a stuff of dreams. What were some of those main things? Is it like the marketing that you're doing right, or is it that you got your product inside brick and mortar stores, big box stores, that gave you the push? Like, how did you go from 74K to 2.25 million?
Yes. So from that aspect, it's a little bit of both. I would say a little bit like 35-40% brick and mortar, and then the rest was just turning on the marketing burners. So don't be scared to spend money on Facebook. If you see ads working properly, you see ads giving you good ROAS, scale them up. Don't be scared. If you have inventory, crank them up. You start spending $1,000 a day, crank it up to 5,000 and see what happens. And that's what we did. And once you do that, you get more eyes from the brick and mortar side as well. So everything just starts rapidly growing.
Okay, and you think that there is still a lot of opportunity in the market, like you're still growing at a fast pace?
Yes, yeah, for sure. I don't think we've even scraped 1% of the United States yet. So
Oh, really?
I'm super
Okay.
excited. Yeah, I'm super
Okay.
excited to see what happens.
Okay. Um, this, could you talk a little bit about your strategy for selling to big box stores? Because previously I've spoken to entrepreneurs, and a lot of times, when someone is creating their own private label, they're kind of hesitant in going to big box retailers because they say there's a lot of asks from their side, and then on the back end there's a lot of like things, challenges like chargebacks and things like that. So at the end of the day, they're actually paying them to sell their product rather than making any like significant profit. What is your experience um, working with big box stores? What was the strategy behind it, and is it working well for you?
Yeah, so big box can be challenging. We've seen it in the beginning. We see it here and there now, but if you have a novelty product like we have, no one's making it. We're patent protected. Uh, Companies like Dick's Sporting Goods, they need us to shelf on their stores. They need new product lines. So we stay firm on our pricing, and if they try to undercut us or they try to give us a deal that we don't like, we will not end up working with them because it reduces our net income at the end of the day when we could be selling online to consumers through our .com fine, or do a different big box store.
And you're working inside the US. You're working with big box stores through a distributor. What is the benefit or challenge of working through a distributor rather than like going directly to some of these big box stores? Because I would assume that.
No, we're working with the big box store directly.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
because somewhere I think I read you were working with like some sort of a spree tail or something.
Spreetail,
I'm
yeah. So that's a different entity. So Spreetail is a great business that we work with. They purchase wholesale from us in large quantities, and then
Okay.
they distribute it through Amazon, Target, Walmart, online. So they
Online.
do our online channels. Yep,
Okay.
they've been a great help.
And if you had tried to do that yourself, I would assume the only reason you're working with them is because they have made it really easy for you to, so you don't have to manage that part of the business. But I would also
Exactly.
assume they take a certain percentage of the sale.
Yeah, so they definitely help out in the customer service aspect and the shipping aspect. They make sure all orders are shipped out within like 2 business days. They arrive fast, smoothly. They have their own hubs for shipping out, and they deal with all of that stuff that we couldn't even get on sometimes. Like, so getting on Walmart.com, Target.com, HomeDepot.com, like those things are challenging, and they presented the opportunity to us, and they purchase large quantities, so it helps us out with purchase orders, financially.
And is it that, your product is a bit unique and this company's retail recognized that, you have a fast selling product, that's why they wanted to work with you? Or is it that anyone who creates a new product can simply go to them and they would be okay with working with them? Like, was there like a
Nah, yeah. So we're fortunate that CrossNet is like I said, I believe it's a novelty product. So it's something that no one's ever seen before. It's something that someone really wants to play at the end of the day once you see it for your first time. Spreetel recognized that. They distribute Razor scooters. They were like the #1 seller for them. So they know good products, and they reached out to us before anyone showed love to us. So we jumped on that, and we've been working simultaneously since.
So they reached out to you. So they recognized the selling product. They reached out to you. They made a proposition, and you said, "Okay, this makes sense. Let's go
Yep,
with it."
exactly.
Um, what does your I know you have your 3 co-founders. What does your team look like right now, in terms of like beyond the co-founders?
Yeah, so our team is structured right now as we have a social media manager, we have a marketing director, we have warehouse operations manager, customer service team, and then we have another warehouse fulfillment operations manager who handles the shipping. So there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of us right now underneath me, Mike, and Chris, we all work together daily to get things done. And we have a bunch of agencies we work with, about 5, I believe, off the top of my head, who our social media and marketing team correlate with every day.
Okay. So basically you have the in-person logistics team, and then you work with agencies on the marketing side, I guess.
Exactly.
So I know you mentioned Facebook ads quite a bit on the marketing side. Are you also doing like Google ads, or like what are some of the marketing activities that are working really well for you in terms of like new customer acquisition?
For new customers, definitely Facebook number one. We do Google ads, Twitter ads, Snapchat ads are performing pretty well right now for us. In the back end, once we do get the consumers and we want to retarget them, emailing is great. We have a great email agency, Boundless Labs, that we've been working with for the last 8 months, I believe, and they've been phenomenal. With our margin, I think we're about 30% of our sales come from emails now, which is crazy.
So basically, you do some of these ads. People come on your site. Maybe they don't buy, but they give you your email, their email address, and then you have a whole bunch of a whole email sequence, and that ends up converting 30% of those people.
Of the online sales, yeah, it does. It's great.
Okay. And in terms of your social media, I do see that, on your Instagram and Facebook and other places, you do have a large audience. Is social media more or less a way for you to engage the customers, or do you see that you're able to convert people, like when people come to your Instagram, they actually end up buying a product? How do you see your social media?
I feel like our social media is kind of lacking at the current moment. We just hired a new social media person who's done a phenomenal job in the last 2 weeks since he's been onboarded. And we're going to continue to grow our social medias, get into influencer marketing. We haven't even touched that yet. So I believe once we touch influencer marketing, it's a whole different section of our business where we can grow.
One thing that I'm really interested, as you were saying that, is how do you, like, when you think about these different marketing ideas and things like that, how does your team work? Like, your three co-founders, like, do you have daily meetings where you say, okay, these are some of the new ideas that we should work on? What does that team dynamic look like in terms of, deciding where should we be investing our money, our time, our effort? Can you share that?
Yeah, so it's definitely since we're rapidly growing like so fast, where there's so many new tasks we have to do daily. We make a list of what we need to get done. We get it done. From my aspect, from Chris's aspect, from Mike's aspect as founders and the leaders of the business. Mike's in charge of Kevin and Chris, our warehouse side, and our other Chris is in charge of Lindsay and Mitko and Jay, our other marketing side, and I oversee everyone too. So daily, I'll be giving Chris a call like 5 times a day, Mike call 5 times a day, and then I'll call Jay and Kevin twice a day, just to make sure that we're all doing our task. And if something comes up, we need to handle it. We get.
Okay. So what happens? So your product, it's a CrossNet game and this product. What happens? So once a customer has made a purchase, like this is, I would assume this is a durable product, a person can have for a few years, they can play, and, what happens to that customer after that? Is that the end of the customer journey for them? Or are you selling, are you thinking about, selling to them some other additional things later on?
Yeah. So it's definitely not the end of the customer journey. We want people to really get engaged across CrossNet, fall in love with it, come out to our tournaments, create their own leagues, develop an app where they can meet up with random people and play. And then they can also go to our website or hopefully to our big box store soon and purchase our doubles net, which is 2-1-2-1-2-1-2. So it's a team-based game, makes it more fun. Some people think it's more fun. I like singles there, but because I don't have to rely on a partner. But it makes it to a team game, which is awesome. And then we also have the CrossNet H2O for the pool.
From the e-commerce side, what are some of the strategies and tools that you find work really well for you in terms of, like, when people come to the website and they end up converting to a customer?
So yeah, just using Klaviyo has been great for our emails. Privy to start off was to capture the emails. As far as adding more, revenue to your top line order, using upsell apps are great. So if someone purchases a CrossNet, they'll get offered a ball or a doubles net, and it increases the AOV of each order.
Which upsell app are you using?
Right now we're using Better Cart.
Better
So
car. Okay.
it's a new upsell app. It's good.
So basically, you someone makes a purchase, they have already paid for this item, and then they see this upsell, not before
Yep.
paying. Okay.
After.
Uh, okay. So what is the one question that always had is, when I was reading about your business, everything seemed like it's within 3 years, everything, it's like all the pieces coming together really quickly. And I'm sure there's a lot of hard work that went into there. And I'm sure, there's a lot of luck in there also somewhere. But I was also thinking, like, a lot of these ideas, do you have like mentors or advisors or, people, more experienced business people that you go to and ask for advice and, and they help you out? Or is it just, three people, three co-founders, just,
Yeah, to answer that straight up, no, not at all. It's just us three. We've been grinding for the last 3 years. We're all pretty smart at what we do. We all check each other to make sure we're doing the best possible thing. So if Chris has an idea, me and Mike, we go over, we say, is this a good idea? And then it usually is, because Chris is smart, and then vice versa for Mike. So we make sure it's good. We adapt and we learn on the go. Do we have people we reach out to legally for legal stuff? Yeah, we reach out to like our lawyers and stuff like that. I know Chris and Mike like to read. I'm not a big reader of like reading like the mentorship books and stuff. So no, to answer that question, no.
Okay. And where do you see your business growing? What is the future for your business? Where do you see your business like in 5 years? And what are some of the ideas that you want to pursue?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I see CrossNet in 5 years in almost every country as a fully developed sport. That's something we're really trying to do and develop in the next year to come, is to really push it out to different countries. I know if there's a different answer for some of our founders, like Chris, he might want to see CrossNet in every school district in America, right? That's different for him. But it's to really just rapidly grow CrossNet into a sport, evolve into a sport, not just a game that people play. It becomes a sport, and everyone knows what CrossNet is.
And with this, like this very unique experience that you had of creating this new sport, do you ever think, hey, I can take this and maybe try creating a new sport and building a new business? Or you're like really just focused on this business like right now?
Yeah, we have a lot of ideas. We're ready to jump on anything next that may come our way, or another business that that catches our interest. We might be able to work with them, which would be cool. But right now we're really focused on CrossNet. We see the vision. We see what's going on this year. We see people need help with the coronavirus. So we've been helping families throughout the whole year. And we see the rapid growth, and we haven't even turned on the burners. I keep saying that to our team. We haven't even turned on the jets yet. We don't have a sales team in play. So once we get everything developed, it should be, CrossNet should be going pretty good.
By the way, the whole coronavirus situation, did it hurt your business or did it help your business? Because there was a lot of restrictions on people going out and things like that.
Yeah, no, it helped us significantly. We grew our business by like 500x. It was crazy. Our sales went through the roof. We went into a back order the last few months, which hurt us customer service wise and like customer like appreciation wise. It was unfortunate. People are waiting for their CrossNets, and we're trying to get out of those situations moving forward. We have our supply chain all handled. And we want to make sure our customers get the best satisfaction moving forward with CrossNet and not having to wait for a CrossNet due to high demand. And the coronavirus really just spiked it up like we would have never thought in a million years. We
Cool.
never projected a global pandemic.
So now we're going to move on to our rapid fire round, where I'm going to ask you a few questions and you have to answer them in 1 or 2 words or maybe 1 or 2 sentences. So I know you said, you're not a big book reader. Do you have any recommendations for a book for entrepreneurs or business people, and why?
No, I don't. That's not who I am. I know a lot of people would like to do that stuff, but that's not who I am. I learn from my friends and colleagues.
Okay. An innovative product or idea in the current e-commerce, retail, or tech landscape that you find exciting?
Repeat that question. Sorry.
Innovative product or idea in the current e-commerce, retail, or tech landscape?
Okay, so there's a product called U-Ball. Our friend made it. He's a cool guy, and go check it out after. It's a basketball beach game, so it's cool.
So that's also a new game.
Yeah.
A productivity tool or software that you recommend?
Klaviyo. Email
Okay.
marketing.
Like, what software do you use for like collaborating with,
Slack. Our team.
Yeah.
Slack. Yeah, Slack's been great. Our team actually was really just side note, sorry, it's not rapid fire, but our team wasn't really good with like communicating in like a Slack or like an organized thing until like the last 3 weeks, which is funny. We've been always just like iMessaging for the longest time.
Okay. A startup or business in e-commerce, retail, or tech that you think is doing great things right now?
Truff's hot sauce. Good guys over there too.
Hot sauce, okay. A peer entrepreneur, a business person who inspires you?
I gotta go with my partners, Mike and Chris.
Cool. Best business advice that you've ever received or you would give to other entrepreneurs?
Don't be scared to risk ad spend. So spend money. If you see anything, push it up, push it, keep going.
As long as you see that you're making more money than you're spending.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
And the final question, and this would be very interesting for me, what percentage of your success up until now you attribute to luck versus like hard work?
99% hard work, 1% luck.
Okay. All right. Well, those were all the questions that I had for you today, Greg. Thank you so much for joining us today here. In the next, if you want to share your website, any other products that you want to promote, your contact information, please go ahead.
Yeah, you can reach out to us at CrossNet Game on social medias. CrossNetGame.com is where you can pick up a CrossNet and support us directly from our .com website.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Greg, for joining us today at Trip Talks. Really enjoyed talking to you, and thanks for sharing your story and some of the business insights. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It's been a blast.